Well, like I said, I'm Angie Hagen. I'm the Director of Rehab and an occupational therapist.
And I'm Kelsey Olson, a physical therapist here, and we're going to talk to you about preventing winter slips, trips, and falls. So we just have some information and tips to hopefully avoid falls. So just start off with some facts. According to the CDC, more than a third of adults 65 years and older fall in the United States, and 20 to 30% of the people who fall suffer moderate to severe injuries. So it's quite a large amount. There's a study from 2018 that shows falls led to nearly 3 million emergency department visits and resulted in approximately 32,000 deaths just in the United States. As we age, we lose muscle strength, bone density, our balance reactions decrease as we age, which increases risk of falls. And when you add ice and snow and slippery conditions, that just makes it worse. So an easy thing that we like to teach people to do is to walk like a penguin on the snow. So to do that, you just widen your base of support. That helps your balance. You bend your knees slightly, and you have your arms out like a penguin. Seems kind of silly, but that gives you a bigger base of support, so you're less likely to lose your balance.
Are you saying when you walk with your arms out?
Yep, it helps your balance. So if you walk like this, it's a lot harder versus having your arms out.
You said walk like a penguin. I thought you meant just turn your toes.
Yeah. So you turn your toes out a little bit, not a lot, because you don't want to lose, your strength. And then just taking short, small steps so that you don't step outside of your base of support. So you just waddle like a penguin.
Kind of like a newborn child learning how to walk.
So it might, feel silly, but if you're going out in the snow and ice and it's a short distance, it's good to do that.
We would rather you look a little silly than fall and break
End
something.
up in our, seeing us later.
Yeah.
And then always just assume that all wet and dark areas on the pavements are slippery and icy because, black ice, you can't always see it. So just take precautions, slow down, adjust your steps, start carefully. And if you realize you have good traction, then you can speed up a little bit, but just assume everything's slippery. Some nice equipment that is helpful, especially if you do like to walk outside in the winter for exercise. You can attach spikeless ice and snow gripper things to your shoes. One brand I know of is called Yak Tracks. I think they sell them at sporting goods stores. You can get them online. They just go over the bottom of your shoe to reduce slipping and give you better traction. And if you use an assistive device like a cane or a walker, you can attach a gripper, like an ice gripper cane tip that have spikes on the bottom. So they do make those. You can kind of fold them up and down if you do have to use an assistive device outside. The big thing too is also staying active and strong, which gets hard during the wintertime because we're just less active, we're inside more. But it is important to keep your legs strong because the better strength you have, the better balance you have. And the easier it is to, correct your balance and hopefully avoid a fall. So having a regular exercise program, focusing on strength and balance is really highly recommended for fall prevention. So you can consult with your doctor if you have questions on how much you should be exercising. Us as physical therapists, we're movement experts, so we can really help identify areas that you might be at higher risk, identify what areas you should strengthen and work on, and help you personalize like a program. So that is something, you don't have to have an injury just to come to physical therapy. You can ask your doctor for, a physical therapy order and work on things to avoid falling.
We also do, it says on the back, but we offer like a free fall risk screening. So you could call and make an appointment for that. We do, I don't know, is it like 2 or 3 little standardized tests? And based on how you score on those, it puts you into a fall risk category. And then we reach out to your doctor if we think you would benefit from a PT eval and treatment.
Yeah, I think it's just a series of 3 tests, and we look at your risk. So it's pretty quick and easy to do.
That I think is what, like 10 or 15 minutes?
Yeah, it doesn't take too long, depending on how talkative people are.
True.
All right.
I'm here to kind of talk about ways to just make your overall home environment safer. So the number one thing is always keep your walkways, especially outside, clear and salted. If you have steps to get into your house, please make sure you have a sturdy railing and make sure that those steps are salted as well. If you have any floor mats, make sure they're flat and they're the non-skid ones. I'm not a big fan of floor mats in general, but what's nice is in the winter, if you can get, it's kind of called like a boot tray. I think it has a little lip so it prevents any. So if you come inside from the outside and you have ice or snow on your shoes and it melts, if you can't keep that contained, then that can leak onto your smooth floor and cause slips and trips and falls. So if you have like a boot tray, that will keep that all in one area and prevent it from getting on the rest of your floor. Also, we want you to sit down when you're changing your footwear so you're not falling, and then either wiping off your shoes or your feet thoroughly before you're stepping out. Other tips to keep your hands free as possible so you can walk like a penguin. Sometimes it's easier to wear like a backpack or a crossbody bag. I would just recommend not filling the backpack so it's so heavy that if you were to slip that it pulls you backwards. Yes, then you look like a turtle, yes. If you don't have garages and you're carrying like items from the store or the grocery store in from the outside, don't try to do everything all at once. I am always like one trip, that's all I'm doing. But in the winter, it's just safer to bring one at a time. Also with getting in and out of your car, I have actually done this before. When I step out, I've actually seen the ice and stepped out carefully and I still have slipped and almost fallen. So just make sure that when you're getting out of the car that you're not on an ice patch. If you are, I would almost recommend maybe driving to a different spot. Or another good thing that you have that you can do is either carry like cat litter or some of the salt, just a small bag in your pocket or purse. And then you can just, as you're walking, throw it out in front of you to help with the traction. That's a good idea. And then one of the biggest things is just avoid texting if you're walking or being distracted so that you can keep your eyes on the sidewalk in front of you so that you're aware of what's there so you don't slip. And then, like I said, yes, carrying the cat litter or the ice with you so that you can sprinkle it as you walk.
Yeah, cat litter is pretty inexpensive too,
Yeah.
So. Do you guys have any questions?
Well, I think those yak tracks really saved our.
Yeah, that's,
You use those a lot?
Those
yeah,
are
oh, a
all
lot,
the time.
Mhm.
yeah. I've got one pair of like slip-on shoes that I just leave them on.
Mm-hmm.
I can just
Oh,
That's a
slip
good
it.
idea
Yeah,
too.
that's
So you
a
don't have
good
to
idea.
take them on and off.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
That's a good
So
idea.
I don't have to take the yak tracks on and off the shoe. They just
Mm-hmm.
stay on there all the time.
That's a good idea.
They're by the front door, so when I
Right
go
there.
get the mail or whatever.
Mm.
that's a good point too, is just even if you don't have the yak tracks, but kind of check the tread of your shoes
Mhm.
just to make sure it's not after you've worn them down, then they can be more slippery on surfaces.
Yeah, these are not good snowshoes.
No.
But at least we don't have snow.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
Yes.
Thanks for joining us.
Yes. Thank you.
Well, thanks, guys, for coming.
Yeah.